Verbal Riot.
It's been a wild week in the news for me, man. Normally I try to cover things that are just entertainment related, right? Like I try to just stick to entertainment. I don't really try to dip too much into politics anymore. I used to be very political, but since I found my way, and when I say my way, since I've become politically homeless, since I've become a Ronin who walks his own path, I try not to dip too much into either side of politics just because I can't stand either one. But there's some things that you just can't escape, no matter how hard you try, right? There's just certain topics that will always seem to uh, flood your news feed, even when you don't want it to. And for me, one of those is the story of Carmelo Anthony, right? We by now we should have all heard the story of Karmelo Anthony, the young black teenager who stabbed uh, Austin Metcalf, a football player. Uh, I guess he's a football player who at a track they were at a track meet, and a lot of weird stuff went down. And I've been honestly, guys, I've been trying to avoid this story for a long time. Like I really didn't want to talk about it at all. And I felt like, and mainly not just because it's unsavory, but I didn't want to talk about it because I feel like we don't have all the information on this. By the way, this is me not saying I think he's innocent by any means. He stabbed a kid. Okay, that happened. So my thing is, I just like to get all the facts going into something. You know what I mean? That's just something I like to do. I learned a long time ago that you can't take anything at face value ever on the internet. And by now, we should all know that, right? But no, I wanted to just kind of wait and chill and see where all this goes. And I've been trying to avoid all the craziness going on surrounding well, I guess it's not a trial yet, but it's soon to be trial. And I feel like I got enough information for me right now to where I do have thoughts. I have thoughts, but the thoughts I have are not just necessarily on the trial or on the incident itself. So this has been in the news cycle for the past probably 2 or 3 weeks now, and it seems to get worse and worse. Right, the more you hear about it, the worse it gets. Uh, I don't know why Carmelo Anthony did what he did. I don't know why he stabbed the kid. If it can't look. Maybe it is as simple as it was a heated altercation, and he in a crime of passion he comes out and cuss the kid. I don't know. And here's the thing though. No one knows. But see, this is my problem with this story is no one knows anything really except those two kids. And only one of them is alive right now. But what I do know is this. The thing that bugs me the most about this whole thing isn't necessarily the incident itself, because the incident is tragic. It should never have happened. Austin Metcalf lost his life way too early. I think that all of this could have been avoided, right? Like we all know that it could have been avoided. It was a stupid situation. One second, guys. I'm sorry. Yeah, here we go. Let me pull it up. So here we are. This could have been avoided. And I'm not sure how it started. I'm not sure why it started, but here we are, right? It happened. My problem with this whole trial thing, though, is what's being used, right? What's being used? Because all I'm seeing right now, at least on social media, is a bunch of race baiters. And I feel like, guys, before I go any further with this right now, and this is the reason why I'm so happy I found that hidden bottle of wine that I stashed, because I feel like after I talk about this, I guess I feel like I need to warn people, right? I am going to go in on everybody. I am going to offend everybody, right? You guys are going to understand why I call the show Verbal Riot, because I haven't done that for a while. right? I've been a good boy. I've been a good boy, man. And YouTube has to know that. They have to know I've been a good boy. But I knew when I was going to talk about this topic, I already went ahead and turned off the monetization for this video because I already know YouTube is not going to monetize this video after the shit I'm about to say. Right? Because I think everybody needs to get the smoke right now. See, there's people who are taking this story and they are using it for their own gain, right? They're using it for their own monetary gain. The race hustlers, the race baiters on both sides, but especially the conservative side. You know, you have your people like, you know, Ian Miles Chong, and you have the quartering, and you have all these people who constantly are reporting on this. False information, by the way, right? There's a lot of false information going around. And that's another reason why I didn't want to touch this until I got more facts in. But you have these baiters who are fishing off of this tragedy. Tragedy. They're fishing. And the thing that bugs me the most about this is not so much the race baiters, but the fact that people are still taking the fucking bait. They're still taking the bait. They're still believing everything they see. Now, am I saying Karmelo Anthony is innocent? No, I'm not saying he's innocent. In fact, I think he's guilty based on so far the evidence of what I've seen. I haven't seen any evidence to say that this guy is, you know, that this was self-defense, which is what they're claiming right now. I haven't seen any proof of that. So until I see some kind of proof, the evidence is he stabbed a kid. And he admitted to the cops that he stabbed a kid. That's the facts, right? Those are the facts. That's all we know. But it's the baiters, man. And it's on both sides of this, guys. But right now, before I move into the other half of this, I just want to stick to this particular topic. You know, you have all these race baiters on the conservative side who are rallying people up, right? Telling them, you know, it's a race war coming, right? This sparks the race war. You know, the blacks are killing the whites, and they're getting away with it. How full of shit is that? Now, the funny thing about these baiters is the race baiters have no conviction. They don't have any strong beliefs in this. This is all to get your engagement. And they are reaping the fruits of their farm. Right? They got you. They're engaging in the rage of the angry white man. Again, we don't know anything about this case other than these two kids got into something and a tragedy was the result. But that doesn't matter. See, the baiters just want the money. They want your engagement. They don't really care. But it's the people who they're attracting, the people who are the ones that they're, you know, going after, the weak-minded, the people, you know, who post the racist ass memes of, you know, is it them again? You know, those. And you know, you guys have seen all the racist shit that they post, right? They go after those weak-minded people. And they get them. They get them, to their credit. Those fish are on the hook. But that's all that is. They don't care about Austin Metcalf. Not really. But they're banking on the people who do care about it and who care about him, right? See, the funny thing about the weird race hustling thing is they love to say that you know, black people are getting away with all these crimes. They're getting away with, you know, killing white folks and not paying the price for it. They're getting away with it. They're getting away with it. The liberal media and the wokeism, and they're getting away with all of it. But yet, right out the other side of their mouth, they'll tell you that black men are the most incarcerated men in the country. So what is it? How can we be the most incarcerated, but also be the ones getting away with it? These people are fucking morons. And I'm sorry, but if you're down with those dudes, if you follow those dudes, if you believe the shit they say, you're kind of a fucking moron too. I'm telling you guys, everybody's getting the smoke. Don't worry. Don't worry. I got something for the other side too. This isn't a one-sided thing. This isn't one-sided. I already told you guys, I'm probably going to get in trouble for this video. I'm probably going to get in a lot of trouble. And I'm sure YouTube is not going to be happy. But here's the thing. I turned the monetization off. I'm not trying to get monetized on this. This is a video where I'm just speaking my fucking mind. Now, let's take it to the other end of this. See, now there's a lot of, and this is me speaking directly to black folks on this one. Black folks, we got to stop this shit. And when I say stop this shit, we got to stop defending people we know are fucking guilty, right? We did that shit with OJ. We knew that pumpkin head motherfucker was guilty, but we, were sitting there screaming, free OJ. We knew his ass was guilty, right? They locked up R. Kelly. Y'all talking about free this motherfucker who was literally sleeping with underage girls. And you knew he was. And he was doing it since the 90s, right? But free R. Kelly. We need to stop this shit. Because it makes us look fucking stupid. It makes us look fucking stupid when we deliberately defend people we know are guilty just because they're fucking black. We have a lot of problems in the black community that we need to talk about. Now, am I going to spend all my time here on my show talking about it? Hell no. Hell no. I walk a different path, right? I'm down to engage in conversation, but I'm not here to teach anybody. But we need to have that conversation, though. Y'all sitting here screaming that Austin Metcalf is innocent, when again, you don't know the facts. You're sitting here raising money for this dude and don't know shit about the case. But yet y'all will scream to the top of your lungs that he's innocent. We got to stop this. The same people, and I'm not just talking about black people, I'm talking about liberals in general, right? The ones who scream free Luigi, right? Luigi Mangione, the guy who killed a father of two because he didn't like his insurance plan, right? Innocent. He's innocent. No, he's guilty as hell. But man, we got to stop that. Until we get all the evidence, until we get all the facts, we don't know shit about this trial or about this case. But everybody's chiming in on it, right? Everybody. even this cat right here, Kyle Rittenhouse. Kyle Rittenhouse. Remember him? Kyle says, so let me get, wait, I'm sorry. Oh, so the left thinks that Karmelo Anthony, what Karmelo Anthony did was self-defense, but what I did wasn't. Can someone please help me make sense of this? Kyle, you got off. Well, why do you even care about any of this? And honestly, I don't care about Kyle Rittenhouse. I didn't think he was guilty. I didn't think he was innocent. I just didn't care at all. He didn't kill any black folks, and which is crazy to me that black folks are so, that they hate this guy so much, that they hate this kid so much. I'm like, black folks, he didn't kill any of us. He killed like a couple of perverts that were white. So Why are we angry? But again, it's the bait, right? We fall for the bait every single time. And speaking of that bait, you know, and this is what I mean by just stepping back and looking at facts, right? Because I know what some of y'all are thinking. Some of y'all are thinking, well, how is, he took that money and he bought a house and they bought a luxury car and all this stuff, right? Carmelo Anthony got his bail got dropped from $1 million to 250. He was able to get bailed out. And when he got bailed out, he was taken to a gated community, a home in a gated community. The home is like they said it was worth like $900,000 or something like that. And I guess that's supposed to be a rich man's home because here in California, that's just some basic ass shit. Okay, $900,000 for a home. That's like a 2-bedroom with like a patio. So, but apparently where he is, that's like where the wealthy live. The real news is though, he didn't buy a new home. They are renting that home for $3,000 a month. That car, that new car that they keep, showing him posing next to, that's a car that they already had that they bought 2 years ago. 2 years ago, before any of this even happened. They already owned that car. But what the lying ass media is doing is saying that he used his GoFundMe money or Give, Send, Go, whatever site that is, that he's using that money, that his parents used that money and bought $1 million home and bought a brand new Lexus. And they're saying that he did all this stuff with that money that they raised. That was a lie. In fact, all the money that they raised from that account is still in that account. They never touched the money that's in that account. But see, again, that's not sexy though. What's sexy is they took all that money, bought a home, bought a car. They're living large now off the death of this young white man. See, that's the sexier narrative right there, right? And I'm laughing, guys, because I'm laughing at how ridiculous the situation is, and how easy it is for us to fall into this, to fall for this stuff. What happened was a tragedy, man. I hate the fact that look, man, violent deaths are always tragic, but they're always extra tragic to me when it happens to somebody so young, right? Because they have their whole life ahead of them. I'm an old ass man, so for me, it's like I've lived a long life. But when I see like a kid, that's always messed up. And believe it or not, Carmelo Anthony's life is over as well, whether he knows it or not. Because now this is a kid who's going to constantly have to watch his back everywhere he goes. Right? Everyone knows who this guy's who he is now because of what's happened. His picture is all over the place, and not just him. You gotta think about the fact that he's put his family in danger. He messed up. He messed up big, and this is going to follow him the rest of his life. And that's even if he doesn't go to jail, right? He's going to have to live with this. If he goes to jail, then game over, man. If he's found guilty because the trial hasn't happened yet, yeah, his life is pretty done. All over something that could have been avoided. Didn't need to happen.